India jövőre lesz 75 éves, hogy függetlenné vált. Ön szerint melyek a legfontosabb eredményei ennek a majd 7,5 évtizednek?
It is a pleasure to come to Saget TV and speak to your viewers. As regards your question, while it is true that India became independent in 1947 and we are celebrating 75 years of our independence next year, but our civilizational history is much older. The immense growth of Indian economy and its progress in diverse sectors, it should be seen in the background of our status when colonial powers had arrived in India before that period. When India constituted to more than 20% of the world's GDP, and after the departure of colonial powers from India, our share had shrunk to as little as 1%. In these 7.5 decades, what India has managed to achieve is truly impressive. Now, this also should be seen in the background of the fact that we have done this within a framework of democracy, where all Indian citizens, regardless of their background and apparent diversity, they have freedom to pursue their life choices and have freedom of expression, free media, independent judiciary, and a very tolerant and pluralistic society. Now, I would just add a few examples in one or two sectors to illustrate this. Now, I give a few examples in one or two sectors to illustrate this. India is not only self-sufficient in food for its 1.3 billion population, but is also a net exporter. India is the world's largest milk producer. India is the world's largest producer of lentils. It is the second largest producer of rice, wheat, sugarcane, cotton, groundnuts, as well as the second largest fruit and vegetable producer, and also the second largest fruit and vegetable producer. Similarly, in science and technology, our achievements are very, very impressive. India is now positioned as one of the top 5 nations in the field for space exploration. India managed to send an operational mission to Mars in its very first attempt. And we are also planning to undertake the first manned space mission in 2022. India produces the largest number of engineers, 25% of the entire world numbers. And in IT and BPM sectors, India is also the leading sourcing destination across the world. So these are just some of the examples of the success that India has achieved in the last 75 years.
Azok, akik keveset tudnak India történelméből, egy nevet biztosan ismernek, Mahatma Gandhiét. Mi az, amit a mai India megőrzött a Gandhi örökségből?
Mahatma Gandhi is considered to be one of the most influential persons of the last century, who not only played a very important role in India's freedom struggle, but also influenced a large number of other world leaders and thinkers. Now, Gandhiji's thoughts and his teachings are as relevant and salient today as these were during his lifetime. The fact that after more than 70 years of his demise, what he said and did is still remembered all over the world is in itself a testimony to the sound basis and attractiveness of his philosophy. Now, if you observe India's current thinking in the political and social landscape, you could find that Gandhiji's impact is tremendous. All political parties, regardless of their contestations with each other for occupying the public attention and minds of general people, they all respect and honor Gandhiji's thoughts and philosophy. His thoughts are also important in a number of government policies, such as conservation of nature, protecting animals, sustainable development, protection of weaker and vulnerable sections of society, etc.
A magyarok számára India még mindig az egzotikus országok közé tartozik, kevesen jutnak el az ön csodálatos országába. Kérem, meséljen egy kicsit a mi nézőinknek a mai Indiáról, amelynek a múltja évezredekre nyúlik vissza, és ma is kulturális, vallási sokszínűség jellemzés, a világ egyik legnépesebb országa.
You have very rightly mentioned about the cultural and religious diversity of India. Many people who observe India on surface, they get overwhelmed by this diversity. A population of more than 1.35 billion people with 22 scheduled languages, each of them spoken by more than a million or more than several million people, different festivals, etc. This may convey this impression of diversity, but once you study India in detail, it is very easy to see the underlying unity and commonality of the Indian nation. On one hand, you have the first song of humanity, the oldest book written in the world ever, which is Rig Veda, about 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. That was done in India. But if you look at the modern India, India is also now the second largest mobile phone producing country in the world. India is also the second largest steel producing country in the world. And about 15 to 16% of the Silicon Valley startups, they have an Indian as co-founder, which is the highest for any community. I would just give you one or two other statistics, such as India being the second largest telecommunications market with a subscriber base of more than 1.17 billion people, and out of which 700 million are internet users in India. So therefore, today's India is a nation where modernity builds on our antiquity and where our modern industries and institutional capacity, they draw strength from India's old record of scientific and mathematical inquiry, and where our current developmental journey is undertaken with compassion and love for the humanity.
India gazdasága, ahogy ön is említette itt részletes adatokkal, az elmúlt években óriási eredményeket ért el. A GDP alapján a világ 5. legnagyobb gazdasága, a vásárlóerő alapján pedig a 3., és elemzők szerint a világ egyik leggyorsabban bővülő gazdasága. Ön szerint India gazdasági kapcsolatrendszerében milyen helyen van Magyarország, és milyen szerepe lehet Magyarországnak?
Hungary has a very important place in India's economic landscape. Our bilateral trade volume last year was about $761 million, and which showed a small increase of 2.3%, even though the fact that last year both Indian and Hungarian economy suffered due to the pandemic. Hungary is an advantageous geographical position. It is located right in the middle of Europe, at the crossroads of various trade routes and investment opportunities, and it is a key member of the European Union. This gives the advantage that once an Indian company comes here, it will have access to the markets of the EU countries. And many Indian companies opt for joint partnerships and joint ventures, which gives them a kind of added strength of having a partner with local experience. I should also just add here that I think given the unique strength of Hungarian companies in many sectors, they will also gain immensely by enhancing their presence in India in partnership with Indian companies, not only to tap the vast Indian consumer market, but also to jointly manufacture in order to reach third countries markets.
Ön szerint melyek azok a területek, ahol India lehetőséget lát hazánkban? Az információk szerint az indiai beruházások Magyarországon mintegy $3 milliárd tesznek ki. Ezért India az egyik legjelentősebb magyarországi befektetők között van. Milyen lehetőséget látnak önök a mi hazánkban?
You have rightly mentioned that India has very sizable investment in Hungary, approximately in the range of $3 billion. India was the largest greenfield investor in Hungary in 2014 and the third largest in 2015. And if you look at the current areas where Indian companies have made investment, this will give you a very good sense of where they see opportunity here. Now, the major Indian presence in Hungary includes Apollo Tires, the Motherson Group, which is in automobile components, Sun Pharmaceuticals, Orion Electronics, TCS. These companies are in the area of IT and business process management. Similarly, we have some new investments coming here in the area of chemicals, agricultural pesticides, packaging materials, also in the area of intravenous infusion. So this will give you some sense of where Indian companies see the opportunities in Hungary in the near future.
A gazdasági kapcsolatokon túl ön szerint melyek azok a területek, ahol jó az együttműködésünk, és melyek azok, amelyekre még érdemesebb lenne nagyobb hangsúlyt fektetni?
I think our cooperation is very good across several sectors. Now, in the area of culture, we signed a new cultural exchange program during the visit of my minister to Hungary in August 2019, and this provides for a wide range of cooperation such as exchange of cultural troops and artists, holding of exhibitions, seminars, etc. Both countries are also now discussing a new agreement on joint audio-visual production, and this will not only promote cooperation between two sides in joint production of films, but will also have a good impact on promoting tourism in both directions, because once people see the landmarks and sites of one country in their films, they will be naturally very encouraged to visit that country. In the area of health, we have again a series of agreements in place, including a agreement on cooperation in traditional system of medicines like Ayurveda. We had deputed a professor to one university in Hungary for undertaking research and teaching on Ayurvedic medicines. Similarly, in the area of science and technology, we have very regular consultations between the two sides, and we have very active exchange between Indian National Science Academy and the Hungarian Academy of Sciences, and also between our Ministry of Science and Technology and the Ministry of Innovation and Technology on the Hungarian side. Last year, we organized our fifth Joint Science and Technology Committee meeting, under which we have identified 7 joint projects in the area of energy, environment, water, biotech, agriculture, food, etc. We also have a strategic fund where both countries contribute €1 million each to identify joint research projects.
Ön szerint például a jóga mennyire lehet jó eszköz arra, hogy újabb hidat építsen a két ország között?
Yoga is indeed a very important bridge between the two countries, and it is very heartening to see the strong affinity of Hungarians for holistic health, their love for nature, and yoga brings a unique technique to achieve this with almost zero expenditure. So as we all know that this year the whole world has faced unprecedented challenges, and the coronavirus pandemic has severely impacted the world economy, our health, physical and emotional, and our well-being. So I should also inform you that Government of India offers some scholarships in the area of yoga studies, and interested persons should contact the embassy for more details. The embassy maintains very close contact with the yoga schools here and the Hungarian Association of Yoga Professionals. The Amrita Shergill Culture Center also organizes regular classes at its premises. So we have also a trained yoga teacher from India, and as well as several local Hungarian yoga teachers who run regular yoga classes at our cultural center.
A pandémia hogyan hatott országaink kapcsolatrendszerére?
Of course, the pandemic has had some impact in terms of visits of delegations, etc. But the underlying framework of cooperation between India and Hungary that continues to be very strong. Now, if I can talk about, say, political visits, in 2019, within a span of 6 months, we had three ministerial visits between the two countries. My minister came here, Hungary's minister visited India, my water minister also came here. So we had again some other plans during the year 2020, but these visits and these plans could not be effected due to the COVID pandemic. Now, in economic area, as I mentioned earlier, that our bilateral trade last year, this was $761 million, and which showed a small increase of 2.3%, where our exports to Hungary showed a small decline, while Hungary's exports to India showed a small increase. So overall, there was not much impact due to the pandemic, and this proves that our trade ties are quite strong. Our activities in the cultural field have all now moved online. Yoga classes, dance classes have become virtual. We also organized a film festival last year on TV, and I am very thankful to Saget TV for partnering with us in organizing it. Similarly, our seminars, classes, they have also moved online. So while these are pretty useful substitutes, but I personally really hope that we will be able to do physical events in near future, as people-to-people contacts and physical participation makes cultural events so much more lively and rewarding. But the maximum impact also has been on tourism, and tourism in both directions has come to a virtual standstill. I really hope that with vaccinations underway in both countries and the pandemic situation easing in future, we will be able to the flow of tourism in both directions on track this year.
Ha már ön említette a vakcinációt, akkor folytassuk ezzel. Beszéljünk egy kicsit a Covisshieldről, arról a koronavírus elleni vakcináról, amelyet az indiai kormány más országok mellett Magyarországnak is felajánlott. Ezt a védőoltást a világ legnagyobb gyógyszergyára, oltóanyaggyára, az Indiai Szérumintézet állítja elő. Bizonyára érdekli nézőinket, hogy mit lehet tudni erről a gyárról?
India has one of the most advanced pharmaceutical industries in the world. As perhaps you would be aware that India produces more than 60% of entire world's vaccines.
Yes.
And
Thank you,
Indian companies also produce more than 80% of the antiretrovirals which are used for treatment of
Yes.
AIDS. Now, the Serum Institute of India, which makes Covishield vaccine, it is India's largest vaccine manufacturer, and perhaps it is also the world's largest vaccine manufacturer, selling 1.5 billion doses annually, which includes vaccines for polio, diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, measles, mumps, rubella, and so on. There is some estimate that at least 65% of the children in the world, they have received at least one shot made by the Serum Institute of India in their lifetime. Also, the vaccines manufactured here, they are accredited by the World Health Organization and are being used in more than 170 countries around the world, saving millions of lives. The Covishield vaccine produced by Serum Institute has already been exported to several dozen countries, including UK, Canada, Brazil, etc. The production capacity of this factory is between 50 to 70 million doses per month, and it is planned to further increase the capacity to meet the increased demand.
Hogyan jellemezni az indiai kormánynak a vakcina programját?
India has now launched one of the largest vaccination drives in the world. We are planning to fully vaccinate about 300 million persons by July or August. Now, as of now, already more than 60 million people have been given at least one shot.
60.
And every day, we are giving between 2 to 3 million doses every day. We should also remember that population of India is very large. We have now already started vaccination for our healthcare workers and frontline staff. We have also started giving vaccines to persons who are more than 60 years of age. And starting from 1st of April, we will also be opening it up for everybody who is more than 45 years of age. But if we have to reach our target, which is 300 million people vaccinated by August, then we need to further increase the vaccination rate. And given that in the last few weeks, there has also been the early signs of a small increase in the infections in India, it may have some temporary impact on export of our vaccines outside, because we will need to ensure the availability of vaccines for our own internal vaccination programs also.
Térjünk vissza azért egy kicsit kellemesebb témára, mégpedig arra, amit a beszélgetésünk elején elindítottunk. India függetlenné válásának 75. évfordulóját hogyan készülnek megünnepelni a külképviseletek?
This is a very important milestone for India, and therefore both inside our country and outside by Indian embassies and Indian missions abroad, we will be organizing a range of activities starting from March this year, and it will continue up to August of 2023. The events that we are planning to organize in Hungary, they include a commemorative event on Tagore's connections with Hungary, a Yoga for Freedom event, a dance tribute to our 75 years of independence, launch of India at 75 anthem, a painting event, a freedom from illness event, plantation of 75 trees, and also illuminating a prominent Hungarian landscape with LED, where we would try to project some important moments of India's freedom struggle. So these are some of the activities, and our purpose and our objective is that not only we bring various facets and various aspects of our freedom struggle and achievements in the last 75 years, but we also bring forth the connections between India and Hungary in these years.
Már tett említést itt a példák sorolásával arra, hogy vajon az átlagemberek mit láthatnak ezekből az eseményekből, mi az, amiben bekapcsolódhatnak?
Since the events I mentioned, they are being organized over a 2.5 year period. So they will provide ample opportunity for our Hungarian friends to see and be involved in these. Now, at the moment, the events planned for the next 2 to 3 months will perhaps be done virtually because of the ongoing situation here. Therefore, I will request everybody, especially your viewers, to stay in touch with the embassy's social media platforms, especially our Facebook and YouTube pages, where we would be regularly live streaming our events. And in case a live stream is missed, then the video recording would also be available. We hope that as the pandemic situation eases, we will be moving to physical events. And at the moment, it is a bit difficult to indicate precise details, but we will be making this available, including the participation of Hungarian people and our friends on our embassy website, as well as on our social media pages. So the best way, therefore, will be to stay in touch. It's very easy to locate our Facebook page and our YouTube page. Just type India in Hungary and you should be able to connect.
Mi most más fontos dolgok mellett a 75 éve független Indiáról is beszéltünk. Engedje meg itt a végén egy személyes kérdést is. Önnek mit jelent a függetlenség és a szabadság?
This is a very important question, and I should again mention here that the concept of independence and freedom, as it is seen in the Indian philosophy, the trouble with individuality as we understand it today, it sees the individual and self as separate from the universe and the surrounding. But in our Indic tradition, the concept of individuality is far more powerful because it believes that there is nothing but the self. And so there is no choice but to give primacy to the self and leave it free to choose, but aware of the fact that we are one with everything around us. Now, the use of the term freedom has been very beautifully explained by poet Rabindranath Tagore in his poem, and I would just quote that to explain the meaning of freedom for us. And it says that where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where the knowledge is free and where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where the mind is led forward into ever-widening thought and action into that heaven of freedom, let my country awake. And I myself fully associate with this feeling and sentiment that has been expressed by famous poet Rabindranath Tagore. This is a very famous poem from the book Gitanjali, written by Rabindranath Tagore, and for which he also received the Nobel Prize.